This podcast is brought to you by Asus ProArt Displays, expertly crafted for photographers, vloggers, and cinematographers alike. ProArt monitors deliver industry-leading hardware, unparalleled color accuracy, diverse connectivity choices, and the renowned stability of Asus.
AI is like in everyday's life now. It is a huge subject. Importantly, how you use it as an artist. There's this myth about AI is going to replace, photographers or humans. Or you all have to understand that AI is something that needs a human brain to prompt them. Alexa would not start playing until you say Alexa, right?
Welcome to Creators Nooked, a podcast series by Pixel Village where we explore the journeys of extraordinary artists and creators. And I'm your host, Radha Krishnan. Today, we are thrilled to have with us Falguni Kharwa, a celebrated photographer known for her amazing work in newborn and maternity photography. She transitioned into photography in 2018 after being a successful graphic designer. She, according to me, is not just a photographer, but an artist who breathes life into her work, creating magic with her tools available to her, be it the camera, light, props, and now AI. In this episode, we are going to be delving into the style, philosophy, and her work with celebrities, royalty, and various prestigious publications. So let's get started. So, Falguni, welcome to
Thank you so
Creators Nooked. Well, it's really our pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
This broadcast is not really old, but we are really happy to have a newborn baby and maternity photographer in our show. Just because of that reason, I think it's a niche kind of a profile for a photographer. Our community is filled with wedding photographers and commercial photographers, and let's say a popular commercial wedding photographer. Our guys will have, Googled their birth star and birth date, and sometimes even the Kundali. But in your case, since it's a very niche, I'd like you to kind of give a small introduction. Yeah, and we'll start from that. Otherwise, I usually straight away jump into, the whole conversation itself. So I'd like you to do it. I know in that field, you're very popular, not only nationally, internationally. Yeah, but for the benefit of our viewers, if you can.
Yeah, that's very sweet of you to say I'm very popular. But yes, I'm just very true to my art. So I'm just very proud that I am a part of, a photography genre which is female dominated. The whole market of newborn photography is female driven. And I think it's purely because of the mother's instinct that we have naturally.
Yes.
Is, driving females photographer to pick up a genre, something which is, as dear as their child.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and also another thing is, obviously we don't call newborns as a subject. We call them as a new life or a pure soul, and interacting and creating memories for a pure soul, like who is just like maybe 5 days old to 20 days old. Like we are shooting newborns from age of 5 days to 15 days because that's an ideal stage to shoot newborns.
Okay.
Moreover, for the comfort of the baby himself. So there is a lot of science behind when to schedule a newborn shoot for the mother's and the baby's comfort itself. So apart from, photography, it's also, we need to have the whole understanding of pregnancy, motherhood, and the medical need to understand about, the phase that they are into. Welcoming.
Both
Both, exactly.
the baby and the mother.
both mom and the baby, again, pre-delivery and post-delivery. So there is, like, you have to be very conscious about many medical and scientific things that happen during that phase of time, because, you're going through hormonal changes, and, and your client is the mother. You have to be very conscious about, the mother being in the postpartum depression. And, you can't be arguing with her, on silly things.
It's counterintuitive. I mean, a mother who just delivered a baby should be really happy, but you're saying it is depression.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a what do you say?
It's a medical condition.
Yeah, it's a medical condition, and every pregnancy is different, every delivery is different, and, like, you can say every newborn is different. So you don't have a template. So you are basically working around. So you need to be educated on certain things, and this is serious education. It's not just buying props, having a setup, having a gadget, and start shooting a baby. Because it's a fragile stage. There are a lot of things that we have to be careful in terms of, the baby and the mother. So again, educating the mother about the workflow, and, there are certain poses which could be dangerous. There could be, accidents through the sessions. Because again, if you don't know how to pose the baby in the right way, you may injure the baby.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know this. I mean, honestly, I didn't know. I mean, I've seen pictures. I myself have not shot newborns. I've worked with a lot of young kids. But this is absolute. It's kind of a revelation to me that you need to really get that deep
Yes.
into the psyche of the subject. Not your subject, your mother.
Yes.
And the new life, as you call it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so is that why it is niche, or because I've seen people just picking up a camera?
So it depends, because, see, like how you see in India, especially this is happening more in South India, because anyone and everyone wants to become a newborn photographer. Also, thanks to the the prop vendors, and prop vendors offering spaces, for anyone to come and use their setup, which is much cheaper than you owning the whole setup. But again, that photographer who's coming to that prop vendor studio, is he even qualified, or is he even certified to touch a newborn?
Oh.
That's my question, to all these people, new photographers, who think they can,
So it's not really a child's play. It's actually very serious.
It is very serious. They are not aware of the consequences, like, because I am globally trained, I am very conscious about these things, and forget everything else. It's to do with the newborn safety. You don't want to be responsible to harm anybody's baby, or anybody in that matter. And imagine someone who's just born, and when there's so much joy around, and because of some stupidity of ignorance of a photographer, a baby is injured. So, the parents who want those beautiful baby pictures have to be educated, and have to be aware of whom they are choosing, for their precious one, because there's nothing more precious than the child at that stage.
Yeah.
So even, when we are booking clients, when we are doing consultancy, generally now I have reached a stage where, parents are booking much ahead of time. So we have consultancy sessions over the video, or we, go and meet the parents, and we are educating them with the workflow, and explaining the importance of, why we shoot in 15 days, and, what is possible in 15 days and what is not possible after 15 days. Because even the mothers, they are like first time parents. So they are also like, very young.
Anxious.
So like nowadays, like my clientele is in the age group of say 25 to 30, 35 years old. Now they are young parents, they are already, they have so much, they are learning things from the gynac, the mothers are telling, the mother-in-law are telling. But again, when they are trusting you and hiring you, it is your duty to guide them that, okay, even if this is your most favorite pose, we will do it. But if the baby doesn't cooperate and if we see signs of the baby not being comfortable in that pose, we will not do it, even if it's your favorite pose. Because nothing can be done at the cost of injuring a newborn or a child.
This podcast seems to have started on a very serious note. In fact, I thought it was, looking at a baby's picture is like so.
It's all very happy and, very fun, but it's a serious business of understanding.
But you were not a photographer. You did not start out as a photographer. You were a trained designer. So I'd like to, talk a little bit about that. So
I have done my H&D in advertising and graphic designing from Wigan and Lee College, UK.
Okay.
And we had an affiliation, and we have done the foundation years in Bombay, and trained by retired professors from JJ School of Art. So technically, you can say you were trained,
by the best.
by the best. And also, I have done print technology in JJ School of Arts, because we had this exchange program with JJ School of Arts. Like, students from JJ School of Art came to our institute, and we went to so that's where I got my hands wet into the manual CMYK machines and understanding typesetting and all. So a very traditional approach in terms of design and print and advertising. And of course, photography was one of the subjects in design school in our foundation year. And that's when we have touched upon all the genres, like food photography, tabletops, fashion photography. I remember going to these, photo equip fairs in those days. The students would just go for this trade fair. And, seeing those trade fairs and, I was like, oh my God, this is like an industry which is very overwhelming. And again, we were struggling, not having finances, and photography was an expensive subject, and even to have it
not
as a
having
hobby.
finances because of your own
circumstances, like family, financial condition and all that. So in fact, the design course itself was so expensive, to meet, pay fees and all that. And from that to branch out into photography in the days when there were films and, developing things in the actual Lightroom.
It looks like you need to be really poor to start with to become a good photographer. It looks like, because I've seen lots of photographers who are really made from, they come from a really kind of, difficult backgrounds and then work their way through.
But again, the institute that, the design school that I was in, you had to have a camera, and then you're looking at professional studies, right? And you don't want to compromise on things. And again, for me to think whether will I be able to afford these films for every project, and I have worked with chemicals in Lightroom.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a Lightroom, and that smell and all is
dark room.
Dark room. Sorry, because I'm saying Lightroom because I use the Adobe Lightroom. So in my head, it's become Lightroom virtually. Yeah. But all that we are doing in the Lightroom, we have done it in the dark room, clipping those, and this whole working with black and white films and all that. So it was very overwhelming, and the college took us to these top photographers in those days, seeing their studios. So it gave us a lot of experience. But again, I was also interested into, corporate identity and branding and all. So then I said, okay,
so your visual sensibility is where I would say was nicely developed by the time you took to photography. But I know that there is a very interesting story which led you to becoming a baby photographer, which actually probably started way before all these things. So I found it very interesting, and it's got it's got a lot of connection. A lot of books that I've read talked about visualization, and especially that book called Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And your story seems to be it's just playing out that whole book itself. So I'd like, for the benefit of our viewers, I'd like you to narrate about that experience with newborns. And
so like I said, I was born in Bombay, but brought up in a small town called Dhanu. And I did my full from nursery to 10th grade I was studying in Dhanu. And mostly on the weekends and summer holidays, we came to my grandfather's place in Bombay and spent the summer vacations there. And whilst we were growing, of course, there were financial constraints. And also, at one point when I matured a little, I thought, I need to do some summer job. And of course, you being below 18, because I'm talking about when I was 15.
Okay.
That's when, our family friend, my uncle used to own a wedding card printing press,
Okay.
and that's what they called it. And he had connections with all these people who printed cards and had card agencies and who were distributors for these cards which came from abroad, and distributing them to Archie's, Hallmarks,
Okay.
Satyams, and
Okay.
Cheap Jack and Bandra
Yeah,
was
yeah.
very famous then. So my uncle said that it's like a sales job. You have to go to these different card shops, and you know how popular the greeting cards were in those days.
Yes.
Birthday cards and these baby shower cards and all that. So in those days, so I went and I got this whole lot of cards which I had to market. That would you like to buy this collection from so and so, and in those collections, there were these Anne Geddes postcards and birthday cards.
And Geddes
Yeah.
for the
Anne Geddes is like the mother of newborn, maternity, and baby photography.
Wow.
She's the one who started baby photography like maybe 50 years ago, I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
And she's based out of, she was from Australia, but now based in New York.
And you were taking her pictures. I mean, the photographs
yeah.
taken by her.
Yeah, so those cards were like, I'm sure everyone must have seen. And even if you just Google Anne Geddes, and you will see, what work she did. So she actually created this big props where she inserted babies in pumpkins. They were dressed like bees, and they were dressed like, bunnies, and very cute looking babies in the pots, and, and I have bought her books now, and understanding how they were created. So we had to go and sell this door to door, and when the job was over, the job was like a 5-day job, and my payment was some 790 rupees
790
Yeah.
rupees. Okay.
in those days. And that's when I really wanted to buy that set of postcards.
Were they expensive?
Yeah, so they were like 100 rupees each.
And how many were there in a?
So we were basically trying to sell, that to these vendors, and so they were like this collections.
Okay, it's a collection.
So they were like, a postcard of 10 in one collection. So there were different collections, and there were posters. So once, once I finished the job, and I was like, I'm going to get 719, which I really need for whatever, and should I spend $100, to buy? So whilst I was, handing over everything and taking my payment, I just asked that uncle that, so what do I do with this? And he's
Your sample.
like my sample kits. Yeah. So I said, what do I do? Whom should I hand it over? And he's like, you can have it. So it was like, like a bonus for me,
Yeah.
and I still have them.
Wow.
And it was amazing that, that was in the 90s when I was at school, and, I think that was the time when, this was sprouting. Maybe I didn't know I would be a newborn photographer one day.
Wow.
So that was how you say, meant to happen.
Yeah, and so since I talked about Secret and Rhonda Byrne, I must, tell you viewers that she eventually landed up at
And get his house.
and gets.
Yeah, so I used to go for these newborn photography conference in US. That's how I started.
Oh.
And in 2019, my mentor Anna Brandt had invited Anne Geddes as the keynote speaker at the conference.
Yeah.
And that was the conference where I was part of a core team of organizing the conference.
Wow.
So, and meeting Anne Geddes face to face with your mentor, and she's signing books for you was like a dream come true.
And how many years later was it?
So this was in 2019 when I personally met her for the first time.
Wow.
July 19th, 2019. Like, so I can
2019,
never.
and when were you selling the cards?
That was in maybe 92 or 93.
Wow, wow. End of the day, I strongly believe that what you are today is a sum total of what you want to be or what you wanted to be. I don't think there are any accidents, in the universe. I think everything has its own reason. I
Yeah.
think the reason is that you strongly wanted to be.
Yeah.
But of course, the bonus was that you landed in her presence.
Yes.
She's like the.
She's like the Mahaguru of newborn photography.
Exactly,
yeah.
the Mahaguru.
So like you can say every newborn photographer should know her and
Yeah.
learn because
Yeah.
what we are doing today is done years back in a very different and a practical way. And it's amazing, how the whole industry has evolved, from the time she started and what people are doing now. So again, like it's like the commitment to the genre is like it at a different level. From those days, and sourcing things like I remember, like personally interacting with her last year. She invited me to her place in New York because we had been in touch in COVID times, and she was very interested to know how the Indian market is doing, in the COVID times with newborn photography. And so I said, whenever the COVID opens, I would love to meet you again. And
Oh.
then she's like, whenever you're planning, just let me know. And she was so humble enough, And it's like, you're sitting with Amitabh Bachchan or something, for me,
Exactly.
it's like that. So
Yeah.
it is, and it's just magical how I landed there,
Wow, that's amazing. I also know that you also had a small career in between from your college to becoming a photographer. You were also working for the
Yeah,
German
yes.
Chamber of Commerce or the embassy.
No, German Chamber
Chamber
of
of-
Commerce, but very closely working with the consulate and the embassy because we used to do some events together. Especially, I used to design, like, I'm a graphic designer, and I used to manage 4 brands at the chamber. And like we did a lot of corporate events, ministry events, world conferences, and also doing cultural events like bringing the German culture to India, designing Oktoberfest, like getting those big tents from Germany, getting beer from Germany, and understanding from the breweries of how you display the product and creating a logo that goes with the Oktoberfest in Germany. So all this, and then we also did Christmas markets. Like they have these Christmas markets all over Germany during December time, and everything we organized at the race course. So and we had like a footfall of 15,000 people over 2 days. So all these things, like having that, excitement of. Getting everything together and creating a whole event out of it has. And again, in those days also, at events, I was dealing with event photographers, and I was very keen because again, I had to put everything in the editorials, put it on the website. So, like, you had to visualize everything before of how you want it, then to be published in a certain way. So. The chamber actually taught me, networking skills, and it really groomed me in a way, like visiting trade fairs in Germany. Like I mentioned, like I attended Drupa, which was a print fair.
Yeah, the
And,
biggest in the world.
Yeah, and attended Frankfurt Book Messe, which is when India was a partner country, and we were very closely working with the Messe group. And meeting people like Gulzar and all in Germany. So, and I remember in those days, Karan Johar and Shah Rukh Khan actually launched the their movie in Frankfurt.
Oh, okay.
So like the whole Bollywood
Yeah.
for the first time in Germany. I don't recollect which movie of Shah Rukh Khan, but like he was in Berlin at that time, and this whole experience of like going for conferences, attending trade shows, like working on exhibition design, and like how you say, like maybe it was preparing me for my own business.
I very strongly think so. And I think that has definitely helped you because, I mean, you graphic designer,
Yes.
correct? Then you were salesman, you were selling, you were organizing things, you were coordinating things. I think a photographer needs all these things.
And most important, my first paid job was McDonald's.
Oh,
Yeah, not to forget McDonald's, because that's when things really started, it actually molded me as a person. Because understanding systems, understanding brands. So this was even before I got into designing. So whilst I was studying for my BCom, I was also working at McDonald's.
okay.
So as soon as I was 18, I was working at McDonald's. I started as a crew and then got promoted as a hostess and then working with the local store marketing. So when McDonald's actually had a brand launch in India, like we were there. So understanding of brand and, like how you carry the brand and the brand extension and,
I understand that they have a very rigid or very
Guideline, yes.
guidelines, and they
Yes.
actually regularly even educate you, update you with
Yeah.
the.
So even at the store level, at the crew level, we got the best training in those days because there were trainers from the US.
Okay.
And you know how McDonald's is in terms of processing and having steps. So the systems are in place, and there's a lot of things from McDonald's, especially customer care. I have incorporated in my business. SOPs.
So, friends, becoming a photographer, or the reason why she is such a successful photographer is not because she's got the best cameras and she's got the best lens and she's got the best lights. I think the software that got updated over a period of time by doing all these activities has definitely helped you. But when did you realize that newborn and maternity is that what you wanted to do? Or I mean,
Yeah.
do you remember? Were you also doing other genres of photography?
So for me, when I actually I didn't ever have a professional camera. So when I first had a camera was the Sony that you're taking the first digital Sony camera, which you
the
take on
Cyber
holidays.
Shot.
Yeah, the Cyber Shot. Yes.
Yes.
So that's what I had, and that's when at the chamber we went for offsites. My bosses were Germans, and they were he had this larger than life approach. So he took us to these cruises, and he took us to Germany and Sri Lanka and Kerala, and so all these exotic places. And at the offsites is I used to be the official photographer. Because I just loved photography, I used to take pictures, and somehow there were others taking also, but when we downloaded the folders in the system and everyone would look through Falguni's folder and and
Yeah.
I used to love taking individual photos, and little bit of nature photography also I did, and tabletops and things like that. But yes, I loved doing kids photos, and especially after my niece was born. So even when my sister was pregnant, I got a huge Anne Geddes poster to put it in her room.
Wow.
So literally Anne Geddes has always been there at all the special occasions.
Okay.
And not to forget that it was, my mentor, the first person whom I started following in newborn photography is Anna Brandt.
Anna
and
Brandt.
that actually happened.
And who's actually trained under-
Yeah, who is following Anne Geddes as her own teacher.
Yeah.
So,
She's the third person in the lineage.
Yes, so
huh?
it's
So a
like you
direct
can
disciple.
say, it's like 3 generations. It's Anne Geddes, Anna, and I'm learning from Anna.
Wow.
So Anna's has been she has played a major role in me getting inspired, to pick this genre, and
All good teachers do that.
yes, and
And of course, being a good learner is also equally important.
yeah, so whilst I was at the chamber, photography was there, and in those days, my niece was born, so I used to do a lot of pictures of my niece, for anything and everything. As soon as I used to come from work, I used to just be, and with that Cyber Shot, I used to do all mad things. And that's when I realized, and my friend used to like, see me do stuff and all. And then after 4 years, my son was born. So I was doing things for my son, same on those cyber shot. And then my husband bought me like a normal Nikon camera. Like which was like those regular Nikon
Aim and shoot camera.
aim and shoot. And by then this whole digital world had started.
Yeah, they call it Coolpix.
Coolpix,
Yes.
no, but a higher version
Oh,
of
is
that.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once that came in, and then my son started schooling, so then it was like, there's mothers taking nice pictures and all. So one of his classmates' mother, she asked me that, you do lovely pictures, and she had a second baby. And she said, like, we'll do nice pictures. So I would love to do it. And, because it was like sprouting in me. And then she says that, let's wait for some time because she has eczema.
Oh.
So she had a skin condition, and it was a very cute baby, Adya. And then, like, I really wanted to shoot her young, but the mother was not comfortable because of the eczema. So I said, okay. So while she was like 6 months or so, then like, we shot because it had gone down, but she still had.
Okay.
So we did photos and lovely photos. But when I downloaded and when I saw it on screen, I was like, oh my God, the skin is like, she will not want to see these pictures like the mother. And that's when, for the first time, I Googled how to edit baby skin.
Wow.
And that's when, Anna Brandt started popping up on YouTube videos and all. And that's when I started following her. And, that's how the journey started.
Do you remember the first job which you got paid?
So it was while I was shooting that baby, her mother's friend was visiting, who was pregnant.
Oh.
So after 6 months, she asked me, how much will you charge? And literally I had no props, I had nothing. And it was a paid job, and that was a 5,000 rupee shoot.
Wow.
So
and we see you shooting celebrities and
Yes.
socialites and royalties.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so you think, how is it? I mean, can you just give us an idea of how you deal with celebrities, and maybe if it is allowed to be spoken about with royalties, how does it work?
Yeah,
you don't
so-
need to name. Of course, you cannot
So
name.
technically, like initially when I started, I really didn't have any idea of, like how would you regularly, like I have been doing customer care at McDonald's, client servicing at my design studio jobs. But again, talking to mothers, celebrities, I was not very this. But like the first thing when I thought I could do newborn photography, and when I was seeing Anna online, I really thought that I need to educate myself. And how you say the irony, like the year that we as a family, as cousins, had planned to go to Disney. Together, like it has been like our childhood dream. And in 2017, it was materializing that, we all, like when my cousins are abroad, so like somebody coming from UK, somebody from US, somebody from India. So all like, 14 of us going with the kids. And that was happening in 2017. And suddenly in Jan 2017, because I was part of Anna's subscription and all, I got an email saying that she's organizing a baby conference
Okay, and in the U.
in California. And then, like I got very excited. I checked the dates and everything. And, like I enrolled because there was an early bird discount. And in those days, it was for $2,000, the conference itself. And, and just we had received a performance bonus from the office. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to use it here. And attending that conference really changed the way I saw photography. And there's so much more to newborn photography, more than the art, the business side, the safety side, again, the prop industry, then, the learning aids in newborn photography. I saw all that at that conference, and again, it was an expensive conference in the times, and the thing was, the best thing was that I was anyways going for my holiday, and literally when my holiday was ending with the family is when the conference was happening.
Okay.
So
So you overstayed and...
Yes, so I overstayed, and it was first time I went on my own to California, and I was like really, really scared, and I just message in the summit FB group that look, I'm coming for the first time. I know nothing about newborn photography, and immediately Anna messaged, and she says, "Don't worry, you're in safe hands."
Wow.
Like, that's like,
Reassuring.
it's like somebody putting, their hand on you that don't worry. And for me, she is a celebrity. And imagine a celebrity is replying to your comment. So that really brought the trust in. And, then I went year after year. So in 2017, I realized that, this is it that I want to do, because photography is one thing, but can I sell this as a service? To understand it as a business that is going to bring money in, and again bring money in a legal and a rightful way. So that conference actually, answering your question, that gave me confidence of how to deal with customers, and again celebrities, new mothers. It's a different thing, because already they are big, and but even with royalties and all, it was very easy because they came to me, and it was easy because they already had that trust in me, and they knew that they want to shoot with me. So there were things where I also said no to certain things, also explaining the whole safety measure and all that. And then again, they spreading the word in the industry slowly, started.
Obviously, they spread the word because you did a good job. Otherwise, that would
So
be...
in a way, again, it's not celebrity. It's like you have to just be yourself. They have chosen you, seeing your work, because the work is you being yourself. So again, it's not. Of course, I was very nervous when I did the first celebrity, because not done something like that with a big name. But gradually, I have been very lucky that, I have not got those celebrities who are really tough to work with. And again, it's a subject related to baby, so it's a lot of emotional, and, and you have to be excited enough.
Yeah, you need
as
to
much
become
as
one
them.
of them. Yeah, exactly. You need to be...
So it's your special phase of life, and it is my honor to be a part of your special phase.
A couple of months back, I did a podcast where I was the guest, and it was Nitin and Shania, and they said, look, every couple that they've worked with are their friends now.
Yes.
They're no longer clients. They have friends, they have family. And they don't take up that job if they cannot see them as their family. Yes, it is business, but end of the day, it is not about, I did take your job, take my check, and I go my way, you go your way. No, it is, you're kind of building a relationship.
So I have clients whom I have shot for more than 15 times.
Wow.
Same client. So both the maternities, both the newborns, both the 6 months, both the 1-year birthdays. And then they shoot every year with me, to have that milestone for their children's birthdays. So, to have this clientele, and even people from sports industry, fashion industry, movie industry, TV industry, they all come back. Because that is...
What do you think is the secret? I mean, why do you think they come back? I'm sure it's not just the product. It's something beyond that.
No,
Have you ever
it's
thought
about the experience, and again, how you connect, and it's a service. Newborn photography is a luxury service. Not everyone is going to get their baby's pictures done. People are going to use their phones and their own cameras to do pictures. And not everybody wants a propped session. So we do a lot of lifestyle session as well as prop session. Also, I have a clientele who also just hires me to do only digitals. So there are...
What is a digital?
So digital is where, you have these pre-set up shots, and we are just inserting the baby in.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually the smarter way of, adding more variety to their gallery.
So the client, I mean, or your clients, yes, they know exactly what they want, or you suggest them.
Yes, of course, because first of all, when they approach to you, they don't know, say, you can say 70% of the things that you are doing. So it's totally up to me how I'm educating them, for what I have to offer. And again, what I'm offering, and they also have some expectations. So meeting their expectations and always overdoing,
Delivering.
over delivering is, I think that's my USP, where and that's where the digitals play a major role, because many a times people don't know what digitals are.
Yes.
And
Till
they
you
are-
explained to
yeah.
me some time back, it was I thought it was all short.
And when I started, a lot of people told me that this is not going to work, but I have created a market for myself. I mean, I sell digitals, which are like, every single digital is an additional 2,500 rupees, apart from the session fee. So that is again, after sales for me. So that's what I've learned from McDonald's.
So it's a collective.
Yes, and
you know.
I don't share any raw files. Never.
Okay.
I don't give even one image, because
These are all contractual agreements with.
yes, it is mentioned
part
in my
of your-
terms and conditions, because even sometimes when the mothers approach, they think how many raw images you will give. So I said, we have a business policy of not sharing raw files or non-edited JPEGs also. Because a lot of photographers in the industry are giving like 100 non-edited JPEGs. And it's like, you're like missing out on business, because if I'm creating art and if her package includes say 20 images and she likes 30 images, I have another 10K business on that 30 images. So why should you lose out on that 10K? So even like, when we are doing sessions in lakhs, we are having another double digit thousands, as an after sale from a gallery. So I think in photography, doing a business, okay, you're established, but then what else? Like, how do you work smart, save your time and energy and your money in buying these expensive props? Because newborn industry props are very expensive.
Okay.
And again, like I source everything from abroad, because I know they are 100% non-toxic, especially the furs and things like that. Because again, that's again a safety rule. You don't know if a newborn is allergic to a certain fur or a fabric. Even the mother would not know. He is just 15 days old. So, you have to understand the signs that, when
Okay.
you're, seeing if you put a baby on a particular texture or a particular fabric, how is he, behaving? Is
Just
he,
by looking at him,
yeah,
to.
and there has been instances, because even when I leave after a session, I always say that make sure you sponge your baby, because we have put him on different furs. He might have a lint around his neck, and maybe this they would not know. But as a responsible photographer, I need to tell that please clean your baby, and then then go ahead with the day, because you don't know if those furs are going to give them rash or something, because these lint and all, you never know. And
And
especially,
though you are taking utmost precaution,
Yes.
still allergies are something
yeah,
which you
allergy
cannot.
is something
yeah,
you can't,
cannot
and it
really.
can go with the most natural product
Absolutely.
also, because it is like how you say, every baby is different, every skin is different, and again, we are in a country where moisture is a problem,
Yeah.
heat is a problem.
Yeah.
So
Do you think this level of understanding, this kind of depth in understanding that business and that is there in this country, in India, among the newborn photographers?
So I can say, I see. First of all, not everybody is, educated or certified. So supposing the trend now in India is like, if they have done one workshop with someone, and they would just write certified newborn photographer, but technically you're not a certified newborn photographer, because just doing one workshop is not going to make you a certified photographer. And even for me, like I have attended, like I have been to US like in 2017, 18, 19. We had COVID, 2020 and 2021. Again 22 I traveled, 23, because this is a market where you need to continuously educate yourself and upgrade yourself. And again, the softwares are upgrading. Like if you see Photoshop, there is an upgrade like every 2 months,
Correct.
you know. So you have to keep on upgrading your skills, and you have to have an understanding of photography as a business. I mean, okay, if you're doing it as a hobby, it's a different thing. But how are you getting in, you know, expertise and
I know the importance of constant, constant learning. Not everyone can afford a, Anna Brand,
no, but there's
Anna Brand class.
so much available online. There's so much, like there are so many trainers in India now. Like people are doing workshops. So it's like
Do you conduct
yes, I
sessions?
also have just started teaching. I am like a certified trainer from US now, under Anna Brand's brand.
Sure. We'll add link in the description so people, who are interested can use that.
So again, like you don't have to come to me or Anna or Ann Geddes or something. Like, see, I invested like everything I earned. I invested in education in my early stage. Like, imagine I'm using my whole bonus into education.
Yeah, you just said that.
Whilst being in my corporate job. So it is all up to you how you want to have self development as a business owner, as an individual. And that will basically give you ideas of having different streams of income. And like, believe me, I have like invested lakhs and lakhs of rupees in my education, and I can see the results, like, because I have an understanding, and I can see I am different than the general newborn photographers in India. And I'm very proud that I like to be innovative and introduce new things every now and then, and just not follow the regular.
And you don't have a studio.
Yeah, I don't have a studio.
And your USP is you shoot at your clients'
home, yes.
So in a way, it also helps the baby, right? I mean, baby is in its on, even the baby is like 4 or 5 or 10 days old.
Yes.
Isn't that
Yes, totally. So the clientele that I have, luxury clientele, and even like I have a clientele, like a middle class clientele also, and the middle class clientele and the luxury clientele is paying the same session fee to me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't care if I'm going to a bungalow or a 1 BHK house. I have a setup which can fit into any space. But I definitely need a 5 feet by 5 feet space wherever I am. And when it comes to babies, they are happy to move everything around in the house, especially a newborn. So of course, we have our challenges with space and all. And initially I was only a natural light photographer.
Okay.
And then I invested in the light and all that. But again, it's the importance of shooting at home is this whole thing of women not stepping out like for 40 days for whatever culture
in India.
For whatever cultural reason. It is changing. Like especially in certain
in metros, and
it is changing. There are a lot of photographers in India where they only shoot in their studio. But again, like, I want to give that option, like that comfort to my client, because again, when you're shooting newborns, you need that peaceful vibe around you. So I want the mother to be at peace, because her vibe and her anxiety is directly affecting the baby. Is because she's nursing the baby and all. And already they have gone through a lot, with the delivery and all. And we are not aware of how difficult the delivery was. So that is also important to, check before you're going of how...
Oh man, this is pretty serious. Yeah, this is not just pulling out the camera, setting the exposure and shooting. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to have this understanding. And I think this is something that I think those clients come back to me.
Now, you're a woman photographer, of
Yes.
course. Definitely this kind of photography, you're in an advantageous position as a woman and a mother and a wife. So are there any disadvantages? I kind of know what are the advantages can be or could be.
As in being a mother?
No, as a women
woman
photographer in a space.
Not in a space of baby, because a lot of parents are not comfortable handing over their female child to a male photographer. So actually, in newborn industry, the challenge is for men more than the women.
Yes, that's exactly what I want
And
to know.
even a lot of people would not want or even a light attendant, male attendant. So for me, it's we are a team of two, my assistant and me. And my assistant is with me since last 13 years because she used to look after my son.
Oh,
And now she has, branched out to helping me,
wow.
with my photography. And she's brilliant with babies because she has handled my son. And she's a very progressive learner. So, like I see, and I'm very comfortable handing a baby to her. So again, I have also groomed her in a certain way that I want. She has been seeing all Anna Brandt videos with me online.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is something that you also have to invest in your
The people
assistant.
around you, yeah.
People around you, and I want her to be treated equally, respected equally the way they respect me. So I shoot all over India, and we have shot with all the big names, and when we go to their houses, there are these massive houses,
Yeah.
and it's amazing that like my assistant told me, and she told me in Marathi, ताई ते लोक मला पण सांगतात डायनिंग टेबलवर जेवायला. And we have had lunches
Yeah.
on a silver dining table.
Wow.
So she was very touched, and her first flight travel and all. And I said that you are my team, you are me, so they have to treat you. And I there were times when I have said that no, she will eat with me, so I always try and get that
Fantastic.
respect. So again, what, like, she's wearing my branded clothes, and so I think my clients also see me as a brand, a professional person. Like, I'm very particular about my nails because I'm touching the
yeah.
babies, and this gel polish, I don't make sure I don't have sharp edges, and so all these small things. My assistant also, like, her grooming, she's wearing a hair net, and generally ask her to remove her bangles whenever we are going for shoot. We both are wearing non-slip yoga socks.
Wow.
So all these, personal grooming, self-hygiene, and all this, it is all reflected, when you're visiting people.
Absolutely.
And all. And believe me, like, when we are stepping out, they love my assistant, and it makes me so happy. And they ask that, can you ask her to have someone like her for us, And it
To
was,
take care of the baby?
yes.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's nice because and when, especially when we are doing older kids, it's amazing how she connects with the kids. And then I was like, Sandhya, the kid needs to look at me. You come behind me because they are looking at you.
Yeah.
So all
Fantastic.
this I think plays a major role because you also have to invest in your people. Like, she needs to be smartly dressed when she's stepping out as she's representing me as a brand. And this is something I have learned from McDonald's, because when we were getting trained, we had a self-grooming module that we had to tick,
Wow.
that nails are proper, hairs proper, in the net,
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
So
Wonderful.
a lot of detailing, I think, also helps me getting my clients back.
If you can mention one memorable shoot, if the name cannot be said, it's okay, but one memorable shoot or one memorable instance that you will want to narrate to us.
Yeah, so this was a very special shoot. And it was very, very overwhelming, when I got to know the background of what happened before we shot,
Oh,
So it was one of my clients, outstation clients, and she booked me way in advance. This was her second baby. And she booked me way in advance, and we have been chatting, and she was okay to fly me down, and she had bought my ultimate package. And generally, I don't like to judge people and all. Like, if she's invested in me, I am all for her. It's like, I don't see whether she is like a big shot or a middle class or whoever. And for me, is like, she needs to get more than what she has invested in me.
Yes.
So generally, I don't do a background check. And we landed there, and we had BMW pick us up and everything. So of course you get a feel that okay, you're going. And as we entered, the whole scene in the house was so low and dim and dull, which
Okay.
was my first experience going to any place where a baby is born.
oh,
And I was like, okay, so I thought maybe it is winters, that's why it's like that. And sometimes you can just feel the
Yes,
energy of
you
the
can,
house.
yeah.
And we started the session, a very cute baby girl, 20 days old, and I was really looking forward for this session and all that. And I was just chatting, and like I asked, she had an older son, and just I got to know that they had lost the older son. Gradually,
Oh.
whilst I was shooting, I got to know that they had an accident and their 6 people from their family were lost. Apart from all this, they continued with the shoot because they, they had a baby girl in the family. So this whole accident happened on 31st of December.
Oh.
And we shot on 20. This baby was born on 2nd of Jan, and we shot on 20th of Jan.
Oh, that's...
And like a mother.
I was not prepared for this.
The
I mean, when you were...
So like the very that's something that I truly believe, and it's because of these conferences and education I have understood that how meaningful you are, like how your art is meaningful to someone. Like there was full reason of canceling that shoot.
Yes.
Yeah. But again, it's their mindset of, you have to invite the new baby in that same excitement. And everybody dressed up, everybody followed what I had guided, like in my, a client guide. Everything was as per what I had asked, pick up, drop, everything. And when I got back on the flight, I went through Google, and oh my, I was like just blank through the flight back home. And I think this and for mother, like she had lost her father-in-law, she had lost her own son, she has lost her sister-in-law and her husband and another 2 family friends.
In that accident.
Yeah, and they had also invited the sister-in-law's child for the session, who had lost both her parents, which I didn't know when I was shooting. And she had come with one lady, which was her sister, like her bua. And I kept on saying that, look at mama, look, because I didn't know. I thought she was her mother. And then, the other aunt, she said that don't say mama, And she was like, I think just 8 months. And, my heart broke as a mother, just like imagine like no parents.
Oh.
And I just love that family. And it was just like, for me, it was an eye-opener, is like what these images mean to them. And then I slowly connected, because see, it's a very sensitive topic to even talk to the mother, because it's very new, like a birth, a death, and the whole accident and all. And that's when, I realized, she told me that, is there any way you can add my son's photo in my family picture? And that's when I felt I'm so blessed. I know how to do digitals, Immediately I had an idea, and, like I said, you send me your son's photo. So she just said, when I sent some edited pictures for reference, and she says, I wish I had my son in this. Is there any way you can add him? And I was like, yeah, just send me pictures. And, like,
wow.
This is...
And you could do it digitally.
That was like really fulfilling for me as an artist, and actually as a mother and everything, that it was a very... like I get goosebumps still.
Every time.
Yeah.
This is a cliched question, but I think I must ask, how do you manage, because, I know that you do a lot of shoots, work, life. How do you manage, and travel and all that? How do you manage?
Humans, work-life balance.
Yes, that's a cliche. That's why I said it's a cliche.
Yeah, of course, it's very difficult. But yes, how you say that, I don't know if you listen to Sudha Murthy. I'm like, I love her.
Okay.
And she's saying, like, when she always says that behind every successful woman, there is an understanding husband. So, yeah,
Okay.
like major, like, support from my husband. And he himself is a very busy person, like in the corporate world. And he travels a lot. And of course, like my mom is with me, and like without the family support system, and my assistant Sandhya is like my lifeline. Like she is, what do you say, emotionally, physically, everywhere she's there. So, like I owe a lot to everyone around me. Of course, also people in the industry, because you always want, that support to fall back on, and because like you can say every shoot there is some or the other challenge,
Yeah.
or something or the other. Like sometimes like before I step out for the shoot, I have to make sure that my mom is okay, because
Oh, she's
she
with
lives
you.
with me. Yeah, she's 75, and now that my son is in the boarding school, there's not much. But again,
He's away. How old is he?
he's 13.
13. Okay.
But again, when he was also there, like he had his own, like he's a swimmer, so he's a competitive swimmer. So he had his own schedule. So again, for me to work around his schedule and be there for his tournaments, and now it's a little easier because he's in a boarding school and we get the calendar before the year starts. So everything is marked. These dates are blocked. No shooting.
So your life still revolves around the son's schedule.
Of course. And again, I'm someone who likes to continuously engage and educate myself. So I also like to do, cross-genre workshops, and, do things out of the box. And again, balance is, I think if you're balanced in your head,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't have to be hard on yourself, because you are not a superwoman,
Yeah.
technically. People refer you as superwoman, but it's sometimes you have limitations. And also, like I am a go-getter, but I have reached a stage where I feel very content now. And I'm happy if I have 5 shoots per month, or sometimes even 3. I'm okay, so it's, I think also the balance comes when you get a little satisfied with yourself, then it helps you balance better.
I mean, that's a fantastic place to be happy with what you're doing, and you're not always worrying about where's the next job coming from, or you're way beyond all that. But I know that. But I still wanted to ask you, how do you have you ever gotten to a situation where you felt like you are stuck in terms of creativity?
Yeah, of course.
And
I have that phases like creative block, you mean to say.
Yeah. Or a burnout feel.
Yeah, and it happens, and like I believe in quotes. Like I love to read quotes, I love to share quotes, So
you have a quotes collection?
Yeah, I have a huge quotes collection.
So you pick up one blindly like the...
yeah, and sometimes, see, this whole social media is very distracting. Like, so,
and how?
Yeah, so you also have to learn how to cut off. It is very difficult to cut off, like in this age, It is, and like, sometimes, but I have overcome that fear, that I had that fear that if I am not active on social media, I'll be nowhere. Like, though my 90% of my business comes from Instagram, and
FOMO.
yeah, so I have overcome that FOMO now, and gradually, also like self-realization and things like that. It's and also I don't want to be in a rat race. I do things at my own pace, and of course I have goals which I want to achieve and all, but I'm not hard on myself. Nothing at the cost of your physical and mental health, So I put my physical and mental health first. And because
that's a big takeaway from this.
So it's very, because you can get really carried away in this newborn industry, because there was a time when you're continuously buying props. Now I have reached a stage where I don't invest so much in props, because now I can create 10 things from one prop. So like I have learned to create my own art, So just because the client has asked that I need this, I would not give. I said that I'm sorry, I don't have this prop, but I can create something around it.
Do you have any brand endorsements?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
So I am a mentor for Profoto India, associated with Srishti.
Okay.
So Srishti has been, like you can say, a very important part of my growth.
Okay.
And they have given me...
They're wonderful people. Yeah.
Yes, they have given me a lot of opportunities to explore. And again, this whole Srishti Connect is thanks to Anna Brand, because I only bought Profoto lights because of Anna Brandt.
Because she is a global ambassador.
Yes. So the importance of Profoto lights is that they are newborn, like safe lights. So Profoto lights are UV safe. So when you're using it for newborn, it's not very harsh on the baby's skin, and like it only triggers when you're clicking. So. Of course, that's a setting, but Profoto, the softness that you need, and
Their light shaping tools are amazing.
so their whole, the feathering and all, and of course that is what I have learned from Anna. And when it is I always thought that I can do everything with natural light. I don't need a light. But one thing what she rightly said is that it's like imagine you're having the sun in your control, and once you have that. So once I invested in the lights, my whole
Your
style
of photography
and
changed.
the whole look and the softness and the bounce and like the babies look more molded. And again of course it came with a lot of practice, because I was very scared to touch the light also. And Profoto is a very easy light to work with. It's very easy.
Yeah, they are.
And and it's like now you're meeting, because of Srishti, they invite us for, these corporate dinners when these people visit India, the brands visit India. So that has really helped. And then you feel you're, known globally in the brand as well. And recently Nikon has assigned me as a creator for Z8.
Fantastic. Z8 is a brilliant camera. I saw
yes,
that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm really excited about, and doing projects with Nikon. And I also support a brand called LSP Actions. I don't know if you have heard about.
No.
So she is based out of UK, and she is someone who creates these actions for newborn photography. So there are these one-click jobs on Photoshop where you rectify the skin.
Oh, it's like an action?
Yeah, action.
Action set.
Action set. So she has created those for newborns, maternity, color change, and adding.
Do they work well in the Indian skins and stuff?
Oh, beautifully,
Yeah, they do?
beautifully.
Okay.
Because Lorraine herself is a graphic designer. And I, of course, got to know her through Anna. And I'm a consultant to them. So whenever she's creating actions, she sends it to me for, a user check.
A kind of a validation.
Yeah, like for validation and consulting it. And, then she tweaks it and then she publishes it. And she's also into digital art. So, I have free access to everything that she's selling.
Fantastic.
And it's getting popular here, and it's basically cutting your editing process to 5 minutes per image. So yeah, these are the brands that I am associated with.
It's 1 hour already.
Wow.
So
I talk too much.
I have one or two more questions, after which I have a rapid round.
Wow.
This time, okay? We'll finish. We'll some more time, okay? Please give me 5 more minutes. All right? Okay. AI. You work with AI. So this question is in 2 parts. One, you have quickly. Lots of people are worried about AI and the impact of AI. You've quickly embraced it, you've learned it, you're implementing it. That's one. So how do you do it? One is the question one. Second is, what do you predict? Where is AI taking us? In photography particularly, because I don't want to talk the general AI. I'm going to talk about photography in relation to photography.
Yeah, so I don't know, people know what AI is actually, because AI is in everyday's life now. Like if you see Siri, Alexa,
all around you,
Google Photos, all that is AI. Again, AI as a concept, artificial intelligence, is something. It is a huge subject, and importantly, how you use it as an artist is more important for yourself. So again, how you are intelligent about using AI is a question to yourself. And how much do you want to use? And is it something that is going to help you sell your art, or it is something that you want to create for yourself? So in my case, when I create for myself, it becomes something that cells.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if you've seen the Ganesha and
Yes.
the Durga series. So that is completely.
We'll add a link in the description for you to take a look at that series of work.
So that is completely done in AI. And of course, we have shot the baby with the lights and using the professional cameras and inserting the babies in the AI. So I have created Ganesha backgrounds in Midjourney. And of course, Midjourney is something that does not give you printable content. So you need to have plugins that which makes it high res
Up-res
and
it.
sharper. So again, having an understanding of upgrading your softwares and using legal softwares.
That's one. And plus you're printing back, the understanding of printing,
Yes.
which you
So
learned in
because
your earlier.
exactly, so you are creating art. It may sell or may not sell, but you need to always prepare an art thinking that it's going to sell and the end product is going to be a print. Not everything is going to be digital. So, and I want everyone to print. So I should make sure that when I'm creating something, it has to be printable. So understanding that, and again, AI was something where I got really fascinated because of having design background. And again, we are using like there's this myth about AI is going to replace photographers
Yeah,
or
so,
humans.
yeah, exactly.
But you all have to understand that AI is something that needs a human brain to prompt them. Like Alexa would not start playing until you say Alexa, right? Like Alexa, play this, Alexa, do this.
Yeah.
So you need a human to tell and prompt and create something. If the human element is not there, you can't work with AI, and there is no way AI can replace a human in terms of art. So a lot of photography groups and communities, feel that oh God, our job is going to be replaced.
Is there any reason to be worried about AI,
Not really, unless you're a landscape or travel photographer, or because again those prompting is going to be from Google and stock images and all that. So to add to it, I also use Adobe Firefly, which is a new generative software like Midjourney, but it's more refined because they are using images from their stock, which they
Yes.
have rights for.
Yeah.
And Midjourney is basically using everything
Yes.
from anywhere and
Yeah.
everywhere. So again, you have to be conscious of, if supposing tomorrow you get popular and something goes up and you don't have rights for it, the whole effort and everything goes waste. So again, we have to be very mindful of, legally doing things when you're, an artist, and especially, when you're a known artist.
Wonderful. So that's a big relief that you don't need to be really worried about AI, and it's only a tool. It's all around you.
Yeah.
You're using it already.
So, like you can
And
say, it's a virtual assistant,
It's a
and
virtual
use
assistant.
it. Yeah, use it to your advantage. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. But before we end, as we said, quick rapid round. Yeah. And after that, there is one more question, which is again a cliche, but then we'll end with that for sure. If you were to shoot on a dream location, I know your location is usually the client's home.
Yeah.
But if you had an option of taking your client to a place and shoot it in that location, what will that location be?
I would love to shoot in Disney.
Obviously, you.
So it's a dreamland, I think, for all of us, and especially anything to do with kids.
Okay. One word to describe your photography style. Okay, one word, Nai. You describe it in your own way. Will be
Okay.
too much.
So for me, I think it is a combination of all the art that I have studied so far, and I don't know what people see, but I am seeing the design principles in my shoot, where I'm seeing the golden points and the baby's eyes are in the grid,
the grid,
parallel to the grid, having head space. And so I think this whole combinations of colors that I use, and again with the AI, the tones and the feel and the cinematic feel that I get is, I think, my
That's your
style.
signature style. Which is your favorite camera and lens?
So I am a Nikon girl.
Okay.
And or Nikon, whatever they say.
Yeah.
And just now invested in Z8
I think Nikon is the Japanese way and Nikon is the Western way.
Western way.
Yeah.
But I say Nikon like.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you can say Nikon from like day one.
Oh, you are. Okay. And a celebrity that you would like to work with if you were to shoot a mother mother and a baby together?
Oh, just now, potential moms. I think Katrina Kaif.
Oh, you wonderful. Okay.
Because I like Vicky Kaushal more.
So you'll get an opportunity to meet him in that shoot.
And actually Farhan Akhtar also.
Wow, fantastic. So there are two, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a ritual, pre or post shoot? Do you have a ritual when you go?
Like before I go.
So, or during the shoot.
Yeah, I like, we generally, use white noise to calm the baby, which is, I don't know if you're aware of the white noise that we use for newborns. We are either using a shushing sound, which is shh, shh. It continuously plays. Because when
Plays
you
in a speaker? Or
So I
you keep
basically
saying
use an app.
Okay.
So I put my phone on an airplane mode and then it plays. Then it doesn't interrupt, the
incoming
sound.
calls.
And the app also has a womb sound.
Oh.
So it depends on, how fussy the baby is. And the womb sound works for me because swishing sound basically gets to me after some time. So the womb sound is very soothing and it works for most of the babies.
Okay.
And again, I chant Gayatri Mantra when I'm shooting.
Wow.
Because I believe,
Calming.
I believe in, that calming vibe, and also it's spiritual for me.
Wow.
And like we were told in our childhood that this is the strongest mantra.
It
Whenever
is,
you're
yeah,
stressed, just say
yeah.
Gayatri Mantra.
Yeah.
So, and again, with every shoot, with every baby, it is different. And I am stressed. I mean, you cannot say stressed, but I am nervous
Yeah,
before shoot. Because again, there is a lot of safety protocol. Handling gear, propping the baby, also calming the grandparents around who are anxious of how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things around. So I think Gayatri Mantra also
It
calms
the
everybody around me.
Wonderful. Really, really a pleasure talking to you. I hope our viewers also enjoyed this conversation. The journey of a true artist. I mean, I definitely learned a few things from this conversation. I'm sure our viewers also have. Thank you very much, Falguni.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone.
And all the very best to all
Thank you
your
so much.
endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.